Welcome to The Pitch is Right, the game show where we interview contestants from the 2024 Pitch It competition in a little bit different way by playing some fun and friendly games. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Pitch is Right, the game show where we get the pleasure of talking to all of the great new Pitch It 2024 contestants, find out what they're about, not in some kind of boring interview format, but in a game show format where we actually get to have a little bit more fun with this. We've thought we'd ease them into this Pitch It competition and help them kind of gain some confidence. You know, who knows? Maybe some of these people have never been on camera before, although it is 2024, so I highly doubt it at this point. All right, enough of me babbling. We're going to go ahead and have these contestants introduce themselves and then roll into our first game. So we'll start with you, Stuart. Just introduce yourself and just name your company because we don't want to get into pitches yet.
You bet. Hi, I'm Stuart Holtby. I live in Regina, Saskatchewan, and I'm representing GetInSync. I am the founder of GetInSync.
Steve?
Steve Copeland with RYTHMz Network.
And Alex.
And I'm Alex Markov with Strategy Overview, and I'm based in Connecticut.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So, of course, this first contest is Elevator Pitch Off. This is where, and I'm going to throw a little curveball at you here because this is what's going to happen during the Pitch It competition. I originally told you 30 to 45 seconds. You have an entire minute now to pitch. Ooh. Some people like that. Some people don't. But if you over-prepared, you may have to improv a little bit. So let me go ahead and add to the stage the timer and get that back to 1 minute there. So, Stuart, in our semi-random way of figuring out who's going first, are you ready to go?
You bet. Let's bring it.
All right, Stuart. Ready, set, go.
Right. So we just stepped on the elevator, right? So yep. Here's the elevator pitch. So we work with MSPs that have already achieved high growth and are seeking to enhance their margins beyond what they've already been able to accomplish so far. Now, usually what I do then is wait to see if someone's interested and want to step off the elevator with me. And they say, oh, tell me more. So we basically say we know how hard it is for technology professionals to see their customers' business strategies. So, and we also know that aligning technology and delivering business innovation is impossible without a clear line of sight to business strategies. So, and if you knew how to align business strategies with technology investments, you would, but you don't. So you feel stuck. So that's what we do.
Awesome. And right there around the 8-second mark. So very good on the timing.
Thanks.
All right, Steve, are you ready to go?
I am.
All right, sir. It's your turn. Go.
Hi, I'm Steve from RYTHMz Networks. Imagine significantly boosting your margins while expanding your customer base. With our proprietary SD-WAN technology, you can replace unreliable internet for your clients with the robust 5G routers that come in a box. So imagine this, you walk into your client's office as an MSP, you bring the internet, fix the internet on your spot, and then call Spectrum, Cox, or any other ISP. We offer seamless backup, rapid security, incident response, dependable pop-up and event internet. We provide an unbreakable bonded WAN connection. When I say unbreakable, it's going to not fail over. It is bonded. From that piece, it's going to ensure 88% increase in uptime. So partner with RYTHMz, enhance your service portfolio, keep your clients connected in any situation. If you're ready to maximize your profits and revolutionize your offerings, give us a call.
Very nice. Right down to the 1 second mark.
A little bit of practice. I try to do that.
Good. Well, because with the pitching competition, you're going to need that practice. That's why, the people over at ConnectWise and IT Nation wanted to give you guys these opportunities. All right, Alex, that means it's your turn for the final elevator pitch off. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
So I've been in technology my whole life. I started an MSP in 2002 in New York, grew it to be a really mature MSP. Now it does New York, Los Angeles, and we always struggled doing VCIO QBRs at scale. And in 2016, we built an app internally for our MSP. It saved us hundreds of hours. So we were an HCG at that time. We launched it into the MSP community, and now we have about 4,000 MSPs on the platform in 40 different countries. And we streamline VCIO and QBRs and save hundreds of hours a year. And last year, we launched a client portal, the cleanest client portal on the market. And we now have Office 365 reporting, warranty updating, and we're launching an AI component, which is going to revolutionize the MSP space. It's going to cut MSP VCIO QBR prep by about 80-90%.
Wow, impressive. And you did it with 2 seconds to spare.
Wow.
All right. Well, we never want to see that timer again, so it's gone. Well, you know, it's kind of like Clippy in 365. We just don't want to see that. Okay.
Clippy.
I grew up on Microsoft Bob, if that means anything. Dating myself.
Yeah, I think some of us have been around here for a while.
A little bit.
I started, for those of you who don't know, I started my first MSP. Well, okay, we didn't have the word MSP back then. It was still break, fix, and consulting. But I started that company back in 1992.
Wow.
So I've been doing this a while myself.
Yeah.
All right. So our next game is Tech Taboo. This is the game where you have to tell me benefits, features, a story about your product. Think 2 to 5 minutes long, somewhere in that range. It doesn't have to be, but that's kind of the sweet spot. But the trick is you have to avoid these words: cybersecurity, cloud, automation, and IT. All right. So in our semi-random way of picking who goes first in all of these games, Steve, it's your turn to go first for Tech Taboo. So go ahead and give me 2 to 5 minutes on your product service offering without using those 4 words.
Awesome. So RYTHMz, and it's part of our tagline is take back the white fluffy things. So we're working with that side of it to provide something and give MSPs. I came from the MSP space. The big, huge thing that nobody ever likes talking about, and it's not one of those words, is when your ISP goes out. Everything at this point has moved to the big fluffy things or someone else's computer, as I like to call it. And since it's offsite and someone else's computer, you need every access. And when I'm talking about all access, you need access at any given point. If a retail shop goes down, that retail shop loses access to their ERP. If a manufacturer goes down, they lose access to their ERP. So what we've been able to do, and it's not again on that list, so it works with 5G, is bond an entire ISP side of it, creating the MSP as a carrier service provider. So putting you in between the ISP and your client, really taking back that side of it and making sure that you can almost use one of those words, that you can bond that piece of it and make sure that you're in control. And being in control is being able to say, hey, Spectrum's out, Eric. It's going to be a little slower. We're running on these 3 different bonded 5G pieces. So you're on AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile right now. So it might be slower. And you get to have a different conversation with your client instead of, hey, my internet's out. Why isn't Office 365 working? That makes sense. There you go.
Yeah, very good.
2 minutes.
And I love the fluffy cloud or the white fluffy things instead of using the cloud. See, I accidentally used it, but I'm the host, so I can do that.
You can do that.
I remember back in those days, I sold my MSP in 2013, and it was in Florida. So lightning capital of the US, right? And so the best we could do was when we saw the storms rolling through is we were, of course, had an RMM. We were monitoring uptime, but the best we could do back then was call them up and say, hey, by the way, your internet's out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a whole different piece. I sold my MSP in 2012, came from, oh man, I almost used another word, spam soap. That's not on there. So I came from spam soap a long time ago. So it was part of the community. I came back because my boss couldn't upload a selfie. His wife couldn't upload a selfie because we lost internet at a big, huge party. And that's where this whole idea came out of. And it's really kind of started to take off. We're only 90 days old. So we're real happy about it. And as we've gone out, we're getting embraced by the MSP community. So it's a lot of fun. But it is it's an education at this point. Having people understand it is
yeah, but I would imagine that they come to it pretty quick.
They do, especially when we start talking about bonded SD-WAN. I came from Cabletron and Cisco, so I'm that old as well. So I was talking about SD-WAN and that piece. Networking has always been a little taboo with a lot of MSPs, especially like higher level networking, SD-WAN.
When you get into that level of it, for sure.
But we take care of all of that for them. So
awesome.
We just walk it through. It's a lot of fun.
Well, Alex, it's your turn to play Tech Taboo. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, go for it.
So our app that we built is basically similar to what like a home inspector would do. When you're buying a home, you hire a home inspector to come in and give you a report on the roof, the plumbing, the electrical, foundation, right? So you know what you're buying. You know what risks are there. So that's where our original app came from, is when we were running in it. When I was a VCIO for 10 years, we would sign on a client, and I built a spreadsheet that would just analyze all the technology and all the things that I've learned in the 30 years of being a tech. I mean, I still have memories trying to fiddle with our first 56K modem, trying to get that working, right? And, just hitting my wall on it.
Yep.
Right. So all those endless frustrations. I was an engineer. I did projects. I did migrations, right? I did onboardings. So all those years and years of frustrations of dealing with technology, we put into a spreadsheet, and just it was like a checklist. So then when we signed on a new client, we would then give them this checklist with little icons showing them where they're not aligned, basically what a home inspector would do. And then from there, we build a roadmap off of that assessment and create a roadmap on how they can drive digital transformation. And then that converts into a budget, and then we make a whole list of all their assets, all their contacts, all their licenses, and really kind of streamline this. But the cool thing is that it's done at scale using a template. So you can define your standards that you want for all your clients, and then with one click, generate a report for 50 clients, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and
saves a lot of time.
And I love, what you're doing is you're taking something that operationally a lot of MSPs are not good at, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're not good at the business side of the business, and QBRs and those kinds of reviews and checklists and stuff don't really fall into what they want to do, right? But it is so necessary. And one of the things All Things MSP is about, one of the reasons why I founded it, was to talk about the non-technical side of running an MSP. So I love a lot of these solutions that are coming up through Pitch It this year, where they're focusing on the business side of being an MSP and not just another cybersecurity solution, or not just another RMM tool or email filtering tool or whatever. And those things are necessary. They're needed, but there's also a lot of them that already exist. One of the things I love about doing this for Pitch It is hearing about all these new solutions every year. And you guys have some great ones. So Alex, thank you for that. All right, Stuart, it's your turn.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure. Let's dive in. So I have a more of a personal story to explain our approach, because trying to stay away from those taboos. So my grandson just recently turned 60 and got his driver's license. And he bought a bit of a junker, but, as grandpa, he wanted, to embellish it with a new sound system. And I'm like, okay, I'll help with that. But then about 2 weeks later, the car got sidelined because the transmission stopped working. And when I asked him, I said, so why did we spend money on the sound system? He said, well, I used the sound system because the transmission was so noisy, I needed it louder. So the story here is that often we help our technology customers get what they asked for, but it's not what they need. So in that regard, people don't align their strategies with what is really needed within their IT environment. And as I said earlier, we know how hard it is for technology, professionals to see that customer's business strategy, right? So we get them what they ask for, but it's often not what we need. So how do we solve that problem? It's kind of like being handed a Ziploc bag of 1,000-piece puzzle, right? So you don't have the box, and you're asked to actually put the pieces together. Well, our solution, GetInSync, allows you to take each piece, feed it into the portal, into the GetInSync app, and it creates the picture. Now, you might not like the picture. It might look like Frankenstein, but at the very least, you can then sit down transparently with your client and have those collaborative discussions and unlock any opportunities you see and get them the right thing. So you're not turning up the music to stop the sound of your transmission about to fall out. So that's really our approach.
Awesome. So first of all, again, love the approach to a business solution to a technology problem, right?
Right.
I'm also very big right now. I had a discussion. In fact, the very first podcast for the new podcast I'm doing called MSP Evolutions was a lot of it was about the virtual CTO or the fractional CTO. And that's kind of what that leans into, Stuart, is that not recommending just technology for technology's sake, but recommending the technology that they need to drive their business forward. And I think that's something that as MSPs, the more mature MSPs and the ones that get it are going to kind of move back to the consulting that we used to do in the early day.
Right. And we call it key account management, but it's inherently expensive, right? So if you employ a key account manager, VCIO, whatever label, we love to label things as humans, right? So you're likely not the lowest cost producer, right? But your customers keep telling you you're a commodity because they can't distinguish you between one another because everyone does virtually, the same thing. But by adding this extra level of, like you say, consulting, you're actually differentiating yourself. So.
Yep. And I love the fact
that increasing your margins. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Increasing the margins at the same time. Well, and increasing your clients' margins, because ultimately that's, one of the things they're hiring us for.
Actually, it's very interesting you mentioned that because one of the big things that we talk about is third box thinking. How can we get your customer's customer, helping them do business with your customer, and what technologies do you need, right? Websites and so forth, right? So we all know, so if you can help you grow your own customer's business through that third box thinking, that's the way to go.
For sure. Now, one of the things I really loved about all three of yours was you all told a story. Steve, you told the story about the party and not being able to upload something. Alex, you told about your personal experience as being an engineer and the challenges there. And Stuart, you obviously talked about the car, which I can relate to very well, by the way. And Alex, I also, you were talking about the 56K modem. I remember when we used to take two 56K modems and a Netgear router and bond them together. That was fun.
I'm old enough to know that we were the big hero by networking a printer, sharing a printer. But it seems ridiculous nowadays. But
and the BNC connectors.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Lantastic. Anybody remember that one?
Yeah. Novell. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I worked at Cabletron when they put the blinky light on the switch. Nobody had the guy. I sat next to the guy who put the blinky light on a switch. Nobody had ever thought about it. He's like, I need to know when it's on, and he literally just designed it, and it came out, and it revolutionized. Everybody's talking about there's blinky lights. There's blinky lights. What does that mean? Well, it means it's green. It's on. That's great. So
and now you have Unify with the VR.
Yeah.
Look on the switches, which is wild.
Great. So I wanted to point out the fact that you guys all told a story, because I think that is an important component when you're pitching to somebody, is making them kind of feel the pain and then feel the solution to the pain as part of your pitch. And so as you're going through, one of the things to think of is you're going to be pitching to different audiences, right? MSPs, coaches, a whole bunch of management folks over at ConnectWise. I hear that's kind of the most daunting one. But remember your audience and tell a story that relates to your audience. So, all right. Well, let's get rid of those nasty words because we don't need to see those again. And we now come to my favorite part of this game show, pitch it or ditch it. You know, or as a lot of people know it as, two truths and a lie. But pitch it or ditch it, it was much more branded for what we're doing here. So, and it rhymed. How could I go wrong with that? And it's a lot better than Stump the Chump because I just don't want to call myself the Chump. Okay, so pitch it or ditch it is you share 3 statements with me, 2 truths and a lie, not in that order because it'll be too easy for me to guess, about your technology, your product offering, you know, something about what you're trying to sell to the MSPs or pitch to the MSPs, right? So 2 truths and a lie, not in that order. I have to guess which one is the lie. And of course, because we have our semi-random system of picking who goes first, Alex, it's your turn to go first this time.
Okay. So I have to give 3 statements.
Yep.
And one of them, I have to try to trick you into thinking that it doesn't have it.
Correct.
Okay. So something that I haven't said yet, right? Because I've already told about my app.
Well, I have a very short memory, so you're probably okay.
Okay, so statement number 1, our app saves like 200 hours a year for a VCIO. Statement number 2 is we have Azure reporting, allowing you to see all your virtual machines running. And statement number 3 is our Office 365 reporting shows you where MFA is enabled, enforced, or disabled. So MSPs with one click can see all of their MFA status across all clients.
Ooh. So 200 hours, Azure Virtual Machine reports, or 2FA reporting in 365.
Correct.
Now, you already told me that you do have Microsoft 365 reporting. The question is, do you go into the security side of that or not? I don't know. The Azure you didn't mention. You did mention time savings, whether or not the 200 number is inflated or not. You did make this hard one, this hard, Alex. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to say Azure Virtual Machines because it's the one you didn't mention. And
got it.
I think because 2FA is such a big thing, I would think you probably put that in your 365 reporting.
Azure we're working on, it's not out yet.
Okay. Okay. Dodge
well
that
done.
bullet.
Well done.
I got one right.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Very, very good deduction.
All right, Stuart, you're up next.
All right. 3 statements. Okay, statement number 1. GetInSync is a multi-tenant key account management platform that is purpose-built for MSPs. Statement number 2. It includes built-in accounting features that eliminates the need for additional financial software. And statement number 3. It is integrated with ChatGPT and AI technologies to automate many tasks, including generating a business value plan.
Okay, I think I know this one.
It's a bit of a softball.
So I'm going to say the accounting / financial software one. It would be neat if you had that in there, but I also don't think you probably wanted to build an entire accounting package.
No. It's the additional financial software. Obviously, we have budgeting and so forth, but yeah, you still need your typical accounting systems.
And I do think it's really cool that you have the AI stuff in there. I mean, I realize AI is new and we have to be careful with it because it does have its kind of bad sides, right? And I definitely say, to MSPs, this is something you need to start getting your hands around because your clients are using it. And if they don't have policies in place that you can manage, it can get out of bounds really quickly, just like Rogue IT did during COVID. So something to keep in mind there.
It's very
all right,
cool.
Steve.
All right, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
3 things. Number 1, our RYTHMz network boxes can work with consumer cellular. Number 2, our RYTHMz boxes can work with Starlink. Number 3, our RYTHMz boxes can provide 100% uptime.
So what was the middle one again?
Our number 2 is provide and work with Starlink technology, Starlink satellite.
All right. Because I know that you have a tendency towards better uptime, I want to say number 1 is the falsehood because you put in, I forget what word you used, but
Consumer cellular.
Consumer. That's the word. I was thinking commercial, but I knew that was the wrong word because it was more, I was thinking residential, but yes, consumer. So that's the one I pick because I think you purposely threw that in there and you would prefer not to use consumer cellular.
Wrong. There's no way anybody can provide 100% uptime. We can work on a Walmart SIM card. It doesn't matter. I tested it.
Okay.
So if I want a consumer cellular credit, little SIM cards, it's backed by Verizon. So yeah, no, nobody can provide 100% uptime. Things go down. We can get to, I say 5 nines. Somebody tries to tell me 6 nines. I don't believe it. But we can get to close to 5 nines, but we cannot get 100%.
Well, I guess it was just wishful thinking for me to think that, yes, you could provide 100% uptime.
Yeah, I know it is. I wish we could, but anybody who tells you that, run away.
Awesome. Well, it was so much because so much of what you talked today about was the quality of it. So that's when you threw in the word consumer, I was like, that doesn't quite meet the quality threshold that he's been talking about. So you did good to trick me.
You'd be surprised the 5G. So we've tested every kind of SIM card because we didn't know, right? We wanted to make sure everything worked. And when we did the 5G, I was amazed at how fast it was for over AARP technology that people pay $15 a month for. So.
Well, awesome, guys. You all did really well. Really proud of you guys coming on today and really appreciative of you stepping out and doing this part of the Pitch It 2024 competition. And we will see everybody on the next episode of The Pitch is Right.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.